Hey, with 5 weeks in the books, it's time to start looking at our rosters and see who we can buy low and sell high here for the home stretch of the fantasy football season. What is going on, Headliner Nation? Hey, real quick, have a pretty cool offer for you. Our friends at FanPix are hooking you up with some freebies. If you sign up now for a free FanPix account, you'll get a $25 voucher for select DFS contests. It's quick, easy, free, and no deposit is needed. Just go to fanpix.com/RotoBaller and use the promo code BALLER25 to sign up. Every Sunday, we'll be hosting our DFS free roll contest called the Magic Million, where you can compete against myself and other members of Headliner Nation. It's free to enter, with cash prizes and no strings attached. Remember, just head to fanpix.com/RotoBaller to claim your free $25 and enter the Magic Million DFS free roll Sunday. Lineups lock at 1 p.m. Eastern. Good luck. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jake Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Listen, we're 5 weeks into the fantasy football season. It's done with. We have to start looking at our rosters. There's probably some guys up on our rosters that have either underperformed or overperformed. Is it time to start buying and selling certain players? That's one of the biggest things to do in fantasy football. Be ahead of the game. Buy people and sell people a week or two early so you can capitalize on the value when things start to turn around. I got a list of names here. Some guys who have overperformed their career averages or just having a great start to the season that you may be able to sell high for some of these studs who have struggled out of the gates that could really carry you come fantasy playoff time. So I got a list of players here that you need to buy and sell for the next few weeks, and we'll get right into that list. Before I do, head over to RotoBaller. Check out the content over there. Subscribe to that channel. Look for the Sunday live shows also. Lots of information over there. Last minute injury, weather, all kinds of updates there Sunday morning, 12 p.m. Eastern. Check it out as soon as this video is over. But for now, let's talk about who we should be buying and selling here starting week 6. First guy I want to talk about is a buy low candidate. It's probably somebody who you're frustrated with out there. It's Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers. He hasn't done a whole lot since coming off suspension, but you got to realize 2 of the 3 games that he's played in were a heavy negative game script. The team went down early and basically had to abandon the run. The 1 week in which they led from start to finish was his best week, obviously. 11 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown to go along with 1 reception and 17 yards. This is somebody, Aaron Jones, that's going to be leaned on heavily as the season progresses. The weather gets colder, more teams lean on the run. He's going to be the lead back here for the Green Bay Packers, and his second half schedule really only has 2 really tough matchups on it. He's got 1 against the Rams and 1 against the Bears. Outside of that, he has a very favorable schedule going forward. He's still averaging over 5.5 yards per carry, has been very productive in the amount of carries that he's gotten. He just hasn't gotten the work. Listen, it's a Green Bay offense that Aaron Rodgers is going to lead, and he's going to lead them to a lot of points this year. Yes, he's always going to have those weapons to throw to, but especially now, with a lot of those wide receivers who are banged up, dealing with small injuries, this could be the perfect time for Aaron Jones for you to buy him low now before he has that breakout week. Listen, he has the bye week coming up, week 7. You can sell your opponents there that, hey, he hasn't produced a whole lot. Jamal Williams is still involved. Do you really want to deal with that headache? He's got his bye week coming up. Let me take him off your hands for you, and you could end up with yourself with a solid low-end running back 1, high-end running back 2 come second half of the season. I'm buying low on Aaron Jones. Next guy up is a buy low. It's probably not going to be a surprise to too many people who have watched this channel for any amount of time. It's going to be Doug Baldwin, and now is the perfect time to go buy him low, coming off a week where he had 1 target for 1 yard. Listen, the guy didn't play in the preseason. He basically didn't play the first 3 weeks of the regular season due to injury. He's going to be worked in slowly, and a lot of people are getting frustrated and getting frustrated quickly. The 2 games in which he's played, he's had to deal with Patrick Peterson and that Rams secondary. He's had tough matchups. The bye week coming up is just another selling point for you to grab him. He has a decent matchup here second half of the season. He's somebody who over the past 3 years has averaged 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. He is not all of a sudden just not a part of the game plan. For the rest of the season, strength of schedule, he's in the top 10 for that. And with the injuries that he's had earlier in the season, it's something that you can probably go offer maybe one of these high upstart early season breakout wide receiver guys that may not last, and go grab yourself Doug Baldwin. The championship run could be great, and he could really solidify your wide receiver group and could possibly be your number 3 on your roster. Next up is going to be Dalvin Cook as a buy low, and another guy probably just over frustrating a lot of owners right now. We don't know, is he healthy? Is he going to play? Is he going to play, but is he going to be limited? We just don't know for sure yet. But one thing we do know is this guy is an elite talent running back. He's going to be the lead guy in Minnesota. Yes, he's being worked in off of another injury, which is unfortunate, but going forward, his schedule gets dramatically easier. Starting this week in week 6, if he can suit up against the Arizona Cardinals and put together a decent, game to show progression, the buy low window is going to be closed for Dalvin Cook. This may be the last chance if he plays this week in order to grab him for a cheap price. After that, he gets the Jets, the Saints, the Lions. Then he's got a tough matchup against the Bears, and then he goes right back to the Packers, the Patriots, the Seahawks, there's some great matchups coming up for Dalvin Cook. If he can get healthy, put together a string of a game or two, you're not going to be able to buy low anymore because people are going to automatically take that name value that he had coming into the season, equate it to the recent production, and you're not going to be able to get him away from the owner, especially with all these injuries going on. Right now is your time to buy Dalvin Cook and buy him low. You could get him as probably your number 3 running back with very little, capital that you have to worry about losing if he doesn't actually pan out here towards the second half of the year. But if he does, you could end up with yourself a running back 1 to end the season, possibly as your flex play, depending on what you have to give up to get him. Staying at the running back position, now let's talk about Leonard Fournette. And now is the absolute perfect time to go out there and send offers for Leonard Fournette. Listen, the Jacksonville Jaguars just went out and signed Jamal Charles. That only helps you try to get him for cheaper. Don't go out there and try to get Leonard Fournette and expect to get production real soon. This is a stash for the second half of the year. He's going to come back at some point, and I'm glad to see they're finally resting him. They kept throwing him out there every week, trying to make him a game-time decision. Let him sit, let him heal, let him get back to 100%, and then let's get him into the game then. Right now is the perfect time. Like I said, with the Jamal Charles signing, it's a great selling point for you to go to that owner and say, listen, if they were confident Fournette was coming back, they wouldn't have gone out and signed Jamal Charles. You have, TJ Yeldon's been pretty productive. That's just another reason for them to not rush Fournette back. Maybe you can give up somebody like I'm going to talk about on my sell high list that you could give up for him, get him for the cheap, stash him on your bench, and come playoff time in fantasy football, it would be really great to have a full, healthy, 100% Leonard Fournette to plug into your lineup there come playoff time. Last guy on my buy low list, and this window is closing, and it's closing rapidly, is Demaryius Thomas of the Denver Broncos. He had a 100-yard game and a touchdown this past week, making it a little bit harder because owners kind of remember what you're getting with Demaryius Thomas. However, you can still probably sell that owner on the fact that, A, Courtland Sutton is starting to emerge in this offense, and he could take away targets down the stretch from Demaryius Thomas. Also, red zone looks. Emmanuel Sanders has been the most consistent option in this offense so far through the first 5 weeks. There's still ways to work around this. You can say, hey, in the past he's dealt with injuries. They have Courtland Sutton out. Deshaun Hamilton starting to come along. There's still options out there for you to go out there and grab Demaryius Thomas. I would not give up a huge, valuable piece to grab Demaryius Thomas, but if you have somebody on your bench that's been outperforming here the first few weeks that you can prove has a little bit more consistency to start the season, you may be able to sway away Demaryius Thomas from his current owner and end up with a solid wide receiver here come second half of the season who doesn't have a bad second half schedule. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot in Denver this year. That defense is not holding people like we originally thought that they would. More added offense there for Demaryius Thomas. Gives him more opportunity. He's a great buy low candidate here for week 6. First guy I have as a sell high is going to be Isaiah Crowell, and this may be the perfect time to sell him. He's coming off of a 200-yard rushing game. He's had a few great weeks here to start the season, but it's Isaiah Crowell. Bilal Powell is still there. He's still involved. He's been productive. He could always be there to take away carries depending on game script. He's more involved in the passing game than Crowell is. Crowell's right now averaging 2 yards per carry higher than his career average, and a lot of it is because of these big plays that are inflating his stats. This unreal production that cannot be sustained for an entire season is the perfect time to sell Crowell high. You can probably get almost RB2 value for him right now. He has one of the toughest remaining strength of schedules, and it is a definite candidate to sell high while you can. If you can sell an Isaiah Crowell and sell him maybe to the Dalvin Cook, the Leonard Fournette owner that doesn't have time to sit around and wait for injuries, maybe they're desperate. It's the perfect opportunity to sell high on Crowell. You probably drafted him as your number 3, 4, or 5 running back anyway, so hopefully you have some solid options ahead of him, and it won't hurt you to lose him here, in hopes that you can put something on your bench to solidify your playoff run here second half of the season. Next guy I have as a sell-high candidate is going to be Philip Lindsay of the Denver Broncos. Now, he's kind of been the feel-good story of this year through 5 weeks, right? They've come out there, but they've been trailing a lot because the defense has been so bad in Denver. I do expect that defense to slowly start turning things around, working them way back to where we thought they would be come start of the season. And Royce Freeman is not going away. I know a lot of people have jumped off the Royce Freeman bandwagon. The guy's still averaging over 5 yards a carry. He's had touchdowns in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. He's still involved in the offense, and if he can get more touches, that's only going to hurt the production that you can get from Lindsay. I mean, Lindsay is currently right there, ranked around a running back 2 in PPR leagues. He's somebody that has high value that you could actually sell to somebody, say, hey, you're going to need to start. You can have him, and you can start him this week. You may be able to go and get another piece here or there for something that they can't use this week. Philip Lindsay has value this week. You picked him up off of waivers more than likely, and you're not reliant on him on a weekly basis. He's the perfect sell high candidate in my opinion, and I would definitely throw him out there and try to see what offers I could get back in return for him. Another running back on the list is going to be Chris Carson of the Seattle Seahawks. He's had over 100 yards 2 of the past 3 weeks, but he's somebody who's been dealing with injuries off and on for the past 2 seasons. They still have Mike Davis and Rashad Penny there. Yes, that whole trio of running backs is an absolute love triangle nightmare. I don't understand why they went and took a first-round pick on Rashad Penny if they're not even going to involve him, but yet they're going to involve Mike Davis. There's too many question marks going forward, and he's produced great numbers in the past 2 games that he's played, but it's going to be a committee going forward, and you never know how those things are going to work out. Just because he had a great game this week doesn't mean it continues, especially in a Pete Carroll offense that proves he has no loyalty or game plan or thought process. I don't know what he's thinking there with running backs, but you're never going to get more value for Chris Carson than you are right now. You can sell him high coming off of 2 100-yard rushing games. Another one of these guys, you probably had him stashed at the bottom of your bench. He was probably your number 4 or 5. He may not have even cracked your starting lineup yet, but he's somebody who you can return good value for, and I would look to shop him now also. Let's stick with the Seahawks. They seem to be a theme of this show here. Let's talk about Tyler Lockett from the wide receiver position. He's somebody that can return great value right now. You can sell him on the fact that 4 out of the last 5 games he's had a touchdown. He's been productive, double-digit fantasy points every single week that he's played in PPR formats. It's somebody who you can sell as a consistent option. But it's part of the reason I want to buy low on Doug Baldwin. I think Doug Baldwin starts to eat into the production that we've seen from Tyler Lockett. He's going to reemerge himself into this offense at some point, Doug Baldwin is, and it's going to hurt Tyler Lockett going forward. Brandon Marshall is not that much a part of the picture to where he's really going to be a factor one way or the other. Doug Baldwin, like I talked about earlier, he's going to get to reinsert himself here. He had no preseason. He missed the first few weeks of the season. Lockett has taken advantage of that, but moving forward, this production is going to shrink, and now is the perfect time to sell him before it happens. With the bye week coming up here also, if he struggles here in Oakland and Doug Baldwin comes out and has a great game, he's going to lose a lot of value between now and week 8 when he comes back off the bye. Perfect time to sell Tyler Lockett. All right, those were a few guys that I have as buy low, sell highs here for week 6. If there's others on your roster that you want to ask about, put them down in the comment section. I'm sure one of our 23,000 members of our community is there to help you out if I can't get to you. Like I said, though, I'm going to try as best as I can to get to as many people as I possibly can each and every week. I really greatly appreciate the support. Like I said, 23,000 strong here now, all to help each other out, help each other win some fantasy football games, have some fun in the meantime with it. And yeah, I really appreciate the support. Like I said, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.